Over the past few days, I've seen several articles about this Subway advertising campaign that's going on for the Friend necklace. For those of you blissfully ignorant, as I was a few days ago, and as I wish I still was, quite frankly, the Friend necklace is essentially an AI chatbot made physical. It is a piece of technology designed to be worn around your neck and for you to talk to. Again, it's called Friend because it's meant to act like a chatbot. And so in the New York subway, you have all these posters, and they say things like, "I will never decline binging a show with you. I'll never be late for dinner. I'll never leave dirty dishes in the sink." You have posters with the definition of friend, noun, someone who listens, responds, and supports you. And essentially all these posters are is they're claiming that their little device, their necklace, will replace your real friends. Or at the very least, it will act in place of friends. And again, the piece of technology is literally called Friend. And honestly, I feel like I don't really need to go into great detail about how evil this is, because it's evil. I've made several videos on AI, and there was one I made earlier this year discussing AI chatbots. Basically, an AI chatbot is an LLM that is designed for talking to. And in that video, I went into more detail than I will go into here, but essentially people are using AI chatbots to replace real life friends. If you feel lonely, if you feel anxious, if you don't like going out or being social, here's an AI chatbot and you can talk to it, and essentially, kind of, not really, you can try to get the same feelings that come from social events through the chatbot. You can try to reap some of the same benefits that you would get from hanging out with friends through the chatbot. And again, in that video, I talk about real world examples of people doing this. And as should be obvious to anyone with a working brain, if you isolate yourself, if you cut yourself off from your friends or your family or from your social circle, and you just focus on an AI chatbot that is ultimately an unfeeling machine, there will be bad results. You're gonna have some negative consequences. And so unfortunately, there are a couple people already who have taken their lives, which is due a lot in part, I think, to their reliance or over-reliance, I'll say, on AI chatbots. And so basically the Friend necklace just seems to be a physical version of that. It seems like an AI chatbot just given flesh, essentially. And I think that's bad, but I don't really want to talk about that for the entire video. More so, what I want to talk about is the response to this and what to expect going forward. Because fortunately, people still have some fight left in their hearts, and so as a result, they are putting graffiti all over these Friend ads. People are saying, go make real friends, this is surveillance, which is true. This is a feature of the Friend necklace that distinguishes it from other chatbots. Essentially, it's on 24/7, it's always listening to you. Basically, the idea is that because it's always listening, it should be able to give you better answers as opposed to a standard chatbot. It should be able to give you better responses. Going back to the ads, people are writing things like AI will promote suicide when prompted. It is not your friend. That's true, as I just mentioned. There's one I can't really read well. Don't be a blank, be a Luddite. And I'm actually reminded of a study that found that the more that people learn about AI, the less they are likely to use it, and the more they are prone to become wary of it. And I think that extends to literally any piece of technology or learning about computers in general. The more you learn about these devices, the more you learn about coding or programming, the more you learn about consumer psychology and how it relates to different technologies, the more wary you end up becoming of said technologies. Because you come to learn that there are a multitude of ways in which you can be manipulated and lied to, and really there are just a lot of negative effects that overuse of certain technologies can have on you and your mental health and your physical health, quite frankly. And so I kind of get where the marking be a Luddite is coming from, because quite frankly, I daydream a lot about just leaving everything behind and just going off to the woods and living there forever. But alas, that's not what I'm doing, and so I'm making a video. Because obviously there are positive benefits to technology. Again, I digress. I'm trying to stay on topic. And so in essence, I would say that there are enough people who have negative responses to this Friend advertising campaign to make a dent in it. People are taking notice and people are looking at the responses, and they are seeing that this is a very negative product. I think it's awful, honestly, because again, I made a video already talking about AI chatbots and why I think those are bad. And to my eyes, this is just a physical version of that. And so I think it's a bad technology. And so it makes me happy to see that people are responding to it negatively, as you should. But I had this thought as I was looking at this, that this is only the beginning. There's an article I read from Fortune wherein a writer discusses her experience using the Friend necklace. Long story short, she says it's kind of crappy. She said it doesn't provide really good answers, it doesn't provide good advice, it's not that enjoyable to talk to, it's not very fun to use. And so the Friend necklace is not very good now, but the thing is that I think it will get better. Again, we're talking about one specific advertising campaign that is taking place currently in the New York City subway system. but I think soon enough it will spread to a city near you. Essentially, I don't think that the negative backlash will stop this in any way, shape, or form. And I don't even think that the technology being crappy, according to this Fortune writer, will stop it. Because really, I think the technology is going to improve, and I think as it improves, I think you will see more people clinging to it. And again, I could absolutely see it where technology like this is integrated into your iPhone or some other smartphone. And I fear that 10 years from now, it will be completely normal to have something like this. It will be completely normal in the same way that it is right now to get advertisements for iPhones or for iPads. I think that soon enough, it will be normal to have an AI necklace. I think soon enough you will have an AI chatbot. And again, I think that all of this will continue to spread. I don't think this is the end in any way, shape, or form. Because AI can be misleading. So many of these AI chatbots just kind of go with the flow. If you say something insane, they don't push back on you. And so you end up essentially being in an echo chamber with one supporter, the AI chatbot. And so if you have crazy views, then the AI will reinforce it. And there are a list of just crazy things that ChatGPT has told people. I'm reminded of a time when ChatGPT told a recovering heroin addict that they could have a little heroin as a treat, which is awful, by the way. Don't do that. And so I don't think it's good for your mental health to have an AI chatbot. I don't think that's good because you know that what you're talking to is fake and soulless. And I think this kind of thing will only degrade our social connections, our real life social connections. I'm not even talking about social media. And so basically my point with this video is that I'm saying that people are rebelling against it now, but also it's easy to rebel against the friend necklace now. Because according to this article, it's not very good. And also there's still a stigma around it. It's still kind of weird. But again, I predict that in the coming years, I think sooner than any of us think, I think that all of this will become normalized because I think people do have legitimate reasons for wanting to not engage with people in real life. I think that plenty of people have had negative interactions, negative social interactions, or even bullying experiences. It sucks. But really, there's no way around it other than just saying that having a friend necklace, talking to something that isn't a real person and doesn't have a soul and doesn't love you or care about you, this will not make your social life better. I don't think this will make you happier. Because really what I think is going on here is I think it's a mass campaign to isolate people. I think it's a mass campaign to cut people off from one another. Because whenever you're isolated, whenever you are an island, then you can be controlled. I think you can be manipulated more easily. And I really think that is kind of the end game for a lot of this. And I think there are reasons why things are getting worse. And I think this is a major one, just the degradation of social connections. Because if you're alone, if you can't rely on anyone else, then you have to spend money for goods or services. And I think it's been proven time and time again that these companies, these various tech companies or whatever, I don't care what it is, just all of these massive organizations want to squeeze every last penny out of you. And so I just, I think it's really sad what's happening. Because again, this isn't going to stop. Friend as a business may fail, but there will be something else to replace it. And again, you're going to see these sorts of advertising campaigns way more. It wouldn't surprise me at all if you see like a Super Bowl ad. It wouldn't surprise me at all if you start seeing ads on Netflix or whatever. And really, I do think there will be a big campaign. I do think there will be big pushes arguing that these sorts of devices, these AI necklaces, these friends, they help improve your grades, or they make you happier, or they make you feel better, or they give you good advice. Because people are using AI for therapists already. And like I said, the friend necklace is just a physical chatbot. And so, yeah, I don't think any of this is good. But really, I think that the only way to deal with this sort of thing is I think it's just to not engage with it. Let the products fail. Don't let the advertising work on you. And really try to strengthen your social connections. I think a lot of the adoption of AI chatbots or friend necklaces, I think it's driven by loneliness. People don't like being alone. I'm reminded of that Blaise Pascal quote that all of humanity's problems stem from our inability to sit with ourselves in a room silently for 10 minutes. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. Friend is currently being pushed as something to help you go through struggles, to help you go through breakups. And again, I think you need real life friends. You need a support network for that. But even if you don't have that, I still think that there are solitary activities that you can do to help you emotionally regulate. I've talked about this before, but journaling is great. Journaling, I think, can be extraordinarily helpful. One of the earliest videos I made was on journaling and why I think it's awesome. Meditation is also very cool. I'm not very good at it, but just sitting still for 10 minutes is kind of fun. And then as always, I think reading is pretty cool, because I tend to think that books are a deeper medium than just about anything else, because I think that the best books make you think while you're reading them. And there are countless activities. I'm sure people in the comments will mention some, or I guess you could ask your AI chatbot what you should do if you're feeling lonely and you don't want to use AI chatbots. I'm sure they'll give you okay answers. But yeah, don't let the propaganda work on you, I guess. Because again, AI chatbots are not very big right now, but there is a market for them. And I do think that as different political events take place and as the economy worsens, as people become more divided, I think the market for AI chatbots, I think the market for friend-type necklaces will only grow, and that's why I think you will see all this advertising come to a place near you soon enough. And I wish I was wrong, but I don't think I am. I think I'm right about this. And it's frustrating to me because there are people who act like they're superior because they see the benefits of this kind of technology. But I don't think people understand how much something like this can completely wreck society. And it sounds like I'm being melodramatic, it sounds like I'm exaggerating, but I don't think I am. So this is what I got. Thank you, have a nice night, goodbye.